fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy skin and we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do in no money, what they at you, in no at you. Go be money, miss away in the year, little rat you. Use the youth, the money, waste, and must have man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but bigger than a figure you. Take this spit of money, God, and say that it's not you. One day, the man above end up, him, I got to bet too much. It in the kitchen, some fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% free.
It burn me.
Garbage pile up the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption peace.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy skin and we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, the rapper, they down in our river. Member bowl honey and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and the pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like people them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the son man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
Or them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy skin and we can't buy time. You can't fool me again.
Stevie dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love Lake. We in Global. Bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global. We not promote them. We not support them. Look at them on the cheek come here represent for. We in Global TV. Check it.
Good evening. My heart is full, he said. We know his pocket and his belly is full. One thing we can say, though, unless it happened and I'm not aware of it, the country is left without a Minister of Finance. Nigel Clarke was serenaded today. He bowed out gracefully, showered with every lavish speech you can think of. Kiss me good night, Sergeant Major. Wrap me in your little wooden bed. Don't forget to wake me in the morning and bring me round tonight a cup of tea. Oh, we always love you, Sergeant Major. Sergeant Major, be a mother to me. It's like Nigel was on the stage today having his Broadway exit. The country, though, our country is left without a finance minister. Can you believe it, Jamaica? When do you think we will hear who the next finance minister of Jamaica will be? It is very, very disgraceful for a country, a government with an overwhelming majority, have a year notice from his Minister of Finance. He has gone. There is still no replacement. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining Beverly, Debbie Jervis TV. Who else is here? RJ, Beat and Teach, Marcia Thomas, Sharon Powell, Sharon Bernard, Gloria Morris, Yvonne Riley, Donette Harriet, Violet Watson, yes, good evening, Sophia Powell, Ladybug, Joan Bailey, Brose, Christine Gilbert, Hero Botham, Colleen Thomas, PNP, good evening, Empress Deb, good evening, good evening, good evening. What a country. What a country, Colleen Richards. What a country, Monica Hawthorne. Does anyone know who our Minister of Finance is? A vacant post in our government. Shall we all start applying to be the counter? Kathy on TikTok, how are you? Thank you for joining. Tap up the screen on TikTok, please, and send a call. Everybody and tell them, say, or creme de la creme Minister of Finance is jetting off to the IMF, but Jamaica has been left without a finance minister. Isn't that great for loving your country, putting your country first, or is it just the perks, Arlene Foster? Is it just the perks of it? I don't know what it is, but I don't see in all of this the easy jerk world. Well, go on, bro. In all of this, I really do not see where Jamaica interests lie. When tonight, this evening, our country, Colin Dahmer, is being left without a Minister of Finance. A department which is central to every department in government. The purse string of our country this evening is being left unprecedented without a Minister of Finance. Has this ever happened in Jamaica before? Does anyone know of this happening in independent Jamaica, where the country finance ministry has been left vacant? Everybody was showering Nigel today, and nobody, Nigel or nobody who was showering Nigel, Rebel with a Cause, spoke about Nigel's successor. I've never heard of anything of such before. In the employment spheres, that's why you're being asked, based on your contract and your timing in your employment, to give your employer a notice period, i.e. 1 week, 2 weeks, or a month, or 2 months, whichever your employment contract dictates based on your tenure in your employment. Andrew Holness, for the last month, have received Nigel Clarke's notice to depart office. In their echelon, they would call it demit. even at Nigel's final speech, beat and teach, Parliament in session same way, that's fine. But this should have been announced before Nigel go. I mean, in the face of even Nigel's final speech today, and Nigel being serenaded today by the Parliament, there was not a successor to speak about. So why is the Prime Minister hiding from the public who will be the next finance minister? Let me pull them up in my background so I can go on focus. But Tufton come a Parliament, and this is in response to Dr. Dawes' statement. Tufton come a Parliament with a whole load of things that he has done within. Tufton claims saying that our Parliament fit about 3 months, And Tufton say, now him know how disabled people feel. I know Mr. Sono. Tufton say, and now him know how disabled people feel. And Tufton was away from Parliament for 3 months, beg your pardon. And Tufton come back in a Parliament telling the people, let me turn this down. Tufton come to Parliament and tell a lot of lies and a lot of things that has been done within or put in place within the last 3 months. Tufton deny say, I know him come to a word after the doctor them. A whole load of lies Tufton tell. Me clip out one little 10 minute I hit phone, but I want whole heap intel. But it's not adding up because there's 3 doctors now speaking against Dr. Tufton. And these 3 doctors, that includes the spokesperson on health, Alfred Dawes, Dr. Brady, and now another doctor coming out speaking. And they're all saying the same thing. Them information no far apart. Beat and teach me turn down the sound pan the galangin, but keep an eye for me, and if you say Andrew stand up, you put it in the text so me can go look what go on over the whole on. All right, you know what? Let me keep them at the favor of talk now. Let me keep them pan silent in at the top and go on. Whole bunch of lies. But another doctor has come out. And this doctor's argument is reaffirming what both doctors already said. But Dr. Tufton still come to Parliament today. I say it's mischief. I don't know what Dr. Tufton mean by that. But I think today is one of the worst day in our country, in the governance of our country, where a prime minister with an overwhelming majority cannot choose a minister of finance, is ducking and diving around the country of who will hold that next important post in our government, who will hold the country's purse string. The prime minister has yet to tell us. The prime minister continue to duck and dive. Continue to duck and dive around the nation. I'm confused. I've never seen this before. I was hoping that at least today, when Nigel was bowing out, then that issue would have been put to bed. But it looks like we have to go wait till tomorrow if the Prime Minister not see the need to address the country today on such an important issue. I really don't understand.
Which I gave earlier.
What is going on?
The question is for the standing order to be suspended to enable the minister to take the second reading of the bill, notice of which he gave earlier, and also for him to take it.
Nothing not working out. We're not going to hear a who. The country is just going to tag along. On a member say, when Matthew Samuda resigned, according to Andrew, Matthew Samuda resigned from the cabinet, and we were only told a week later that Matthew Samuda resigned last Monday. So everything in this government is just some little quiet stuff, some little round corner stuff with suit Andrew Holness, but it's not really what is required in the interest of the nation. Even when them praise Nigel today for the money when borrow for waterfront, nobody still don't see the need of having the respect for us as a country. Me with a fool I talk about.
Second, and his delegation from the island state of Cuba, who are before us in the House today.
I don't have time for it, but what the country wants to hear, the country wants to hear who will be the next finance minister. Can only matter in person. Yeah, Tufton saying what it is to feel disabled. But let's listen to, not to remember Dr. what he name, but over here. Let's listen to the doctor, the latest doctor to come out criticizing the ministry and the failure in the healthcare.
Few months at the Boston Hospital for Children, orthopedic surgeon and consultant Dr. Warren Blake knows firsthand what medical staff had to do to keep the operations running. It is why he's concerned about the comments made by the Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton about the malfunctioning AC units in the operating rooms. The minister pointed to poor maintenance of the infrastructure by the hospital's administrators for some of the recurring problems. According to Dr. Blake, that's not the case. He referred us to a plan put in place back in April to fix the AC units in all operating rooms. He said if that plan was allowed to go ahead, problems with the AC units would be non-existent.
And that plan was to have been funded by the Chase Fund. The administration of the hospital was well involved in this, and when they sent to the ministry to get permission was denied. And the minister needs to also address the reasons why the permission was denied to go ahead with the plans earlier this year to fix the hospital. And it's because of this denial that's part of the major reason why we don't have any operating theatre functioning properly at the Children's Hospital at this time.
As it relates to suggestions that patients can do operations at the university hospitals of the West Indies, Dr. Blake says it's easier said than done.
In fact, one of our patients who were on the list for the mission was in fact sent to the university hospital in an attempt to try and get her done through the hospital. She returned to us when she got an invoice for $1 million. All right, we were told that the invoice would probably have been waived, but when the mother faced with an invoice like that, she didn't want to go through all the problems to get the invoice waived, so she came back down to Bustamante Hospital.
Dr. Blake says for months now, he has had to be cancelling major surgeries because of problems with the hospital's AC unit. At the press conference, Minister Tufton also said it was difficult to get persons to maintain equipment. Dr. Blake stated the reason why contractors are reluctant to carry out servicing at public hospitals.
None of the suppliers want to maintain their equipment because they don't get paid. And if they do get paid, they get paid very late. So the ministry is looked upon as a very bad creditor.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
This supports what Dr. Dawes said yesterday. This supports a lot of what Dr. Dawes said yesterday. So I don't know why they must spin around and turn around and carry on, because it does support what Dr. Dawes says. But them in a hissy Tufton come a Parliament and a running mouth about all start today. But then we find out another doctor is speaking on the same issue with the minister as a mischief the opposition make. All three people who have now spoken against the minister are medical professionals. These are not just PR people. These are medical professionals who care about their patient. And Tufton come in a Parliament and Tufton talk one whole heap of nonsense. Whole heap of nonsense. It is why nothing not really happening in our country, because this fleet of politicians don't take responsibility. They don't take responsibility. They rather move around, blaming everybody else except Dr. Tufton and Dr. Tufton incompetency and failure. But I'm going to stop here a bit to speak to my audience. Hold on there. Is this thing frozen? Remove. Hold on, my screen is frozen. But until my screen get back into himself, all right, him fix that now. I want to talk to my audience. I need your support. One sec. I need your support. My yearly broadcasting package have expired. Because of the content we do, Global Television hasn't worked enough money over the year to rebuy our broadcasting package. If you notice, my screen has changed in a lot of ways because I'm using the free version, which is very limited. So we are asking you if you would like to support us, or if you can support us to repurchase our broadcasting package on StreamYard that we normally use to do all the different things we need to do and professionalize our broadcasting, as well as to multicast to different platforms. The package costs £600 for the year. I purchased it last year. It come to an end now. I'm back to the free package. I'm not able to purchase it. I'm asking if anyone would like to support Global TV, whatever you can, to repurchase our broadcasting package so we can continue to do the work that we do. If you would like to support, the links are in the top of the chat where you can donate, and that would be to PayPal or to Zelle. If you would like to support us to assist in repurchasing or broadcasting package, then please assist by hitting the link in the top of the chat to assist. Terry Long still a speak. Make we go over to Vatish. Good evening. Smith's falling. Good evening. Let us, while we are waiting for Andrew to announce who the next finance minister is, let us listen to Dr. Tufton lies as opposed to what we heard just now from Dr. Blake, given what we already knew from Dr. Brady and what we heard yesterday in the press conference Dr. Dawes did.
Can we have the copies of your presentation? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I want to just use the opportunity, even I didn't speak before, to also commend and wish the best of luck to my colleague, Minister of Finance, Nigel Clarke. And to my colleagues who are coming after me at this hour, I apologize for the intervention, because I know state of the constituency is very important and special to elected members. But Mr. Speaker, colleagues, I have been on a break for nearly 2 months from this House, up until recently, and the circumstances are well known. Had an unfortunate accident, and I wanted to use this opportunity to give an update. My team and I, and subject to Cabinet's approval, on what has transpired during the course of that absence from this House. I want to ensure that we continue to demonstrate respect for the House, for the colleagues who are here, and of course for those we represent in public health. I must give God thanks, first of all, for his continued guidance over my life and to have spared me from this tragic outcome. And I must say, Mr. Speaker, colleagues, I have a renewed level of respect for those who are physically challenged. One could argue the disabled, because I had that experience to be in that position for a couple of months at least, as a matter of fact, still recuperating. And it is a challenge in more ways than one. And, as Minister of Health, I want to renew my commitment to helping that community, whether it's temporary or permanent. Mr. Speaker, today I want to give an update, as I said, due to that long hiatus. And as noted in my sectoral presentation, Mr. Speaker, there are a number of transformational initiatives that were taken on, have been taken on by public health. And these are guided by the 2030 10-year strategic plan that, among other things, seeks to improve primary healthcare delivery, to increase the use of technology to address the crisis of NCDs, improve the infrastructure through innovation, modernization, and new construction and rehabilitation, and to create sustainable strategies to mitigate the human resource for health issues that are affecting Jamaica. Mr. Speaker, we are well on our way to achieving that. And over the last 2 to 3 months, a number of initiatives have been advanced. And it's interesting, it wasn't planned this way, but yesterday, the opposition weighed in on the state of public health through its spokesperson, and a number of things have been said. No, I said it didn't happen. It didn't happen for that reason. This was always planned. But it's good timing on their part. that they commented, because some of the charges and counter charges that were made against public health and the servants of public health and the cabinet and government of Jamaica are quite unfortunate.
Chris Tufton alone come out and blame public health, you know. Chris Tufton said the country, despite the amount of money where them investing in the public infrastructure, Jamaica now get what them pay for. Chris Tufton says so, and nobody else.
Not to mention the fact that they are inaccurate. A lot of innuendos, a lot of assumptions, some very extreme positions. And, it says a lot about the mindset of that organization if those words represent the mindset of that organization. Mr. Speaker, the reality is that our healthcare system has not been given the level of resources and attention over many, many decades. And in fact, the very member who leads in these conversations on that side, himself in 2015, when he was president of the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association, state, and it was carried extensively in the media, so, right, that he, as a surgeon, had to wear garbage bags as personal protective gear in order to conduct surgery within the health system. I can say, Mr. Speaker, in 2015, that's what he said during that day. We took over in 2016, that no surgeon today needs to wear a garbage bag in order to get personal protective equipment to conduct a surgery in the public health system. And even if there's a periodic shortage, it's probably around logistics, not because it is not available. And so if you were to use that reference as a starting point, 2015 or 2016, Mr. Speaker, we have come a very long way, and the Jamaican people are a lot better off today. So when I hear the hyperbolic type of description around crisis and tipping point, Mr. Speaker, it really, to my mind, suggests a lot of delusional comments by someone or some persons who are desperate and are exploiting desperation for political advantage, which is very unfortunate, because health is one of those areas that we shouldn't seek to exploit, as is the case, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, we have inherited a lot of the issues, but we are making progress. In fact, the largest investment in healthcare since 1962 has taken place over the last 8 years under the...
I'm going to be a household name. I've always dreamt of playing in front of millions watching on TV, scoring the match winner. Till I died.
This was left recording when we left.
It's nice to see how money works in so many ways with XTB. Because XTB offers a wide range of investment opportunities like stocks, ETFs, with zero commission. Or trading CFDs on indices, commodities.
When you come out of the house. But, Violet, thank you very much. You've made the first donation to our repurchasing of our StreamYard software. Thank you very much for your support. Anyone else who would like to support, hit the link in the chat and you can donate to Reda Zelle or PayPal. Let's go back to the theme.
Way, and that's an achievement. That's an accomplishment after a lot of work. By April of 2025, the Medical Records Department, the General Stores, the Dietary Department, and the server rooms will be fully rehabilitated and operational, Mr. Speaker, hence showing the phased approach to rehabilitation. These areas are critical. This is a justification to the proper functioning of the hospital and are being prioritized to ensure that when the full hospital operations are restarted, they can provide the appropriate support to patients and staff in the facility. So this is a critical starting point. Mr. Speaker, I've also been advised by the contractors that the next section of the building to be rehabilitated is the accident and emergency unit. that we hope to be fully equipped with new CT and MRI machines as a brand new amenity to support the work of the staff of the A&E. So we're expecting that by the end of the first quarter of next financial year, mid-year that is, the new A&E will be commissioned at Cornwall Regional Hospital, and it will be an absolutely brand new facility, including new equipment, Mr. Speaker. And I want to just segue a little bit about that equipment issue, because one of the comments around equipment was that somehow this administration, this government, is involved in purchasing substandard equipment. Now, I am not sure where that statement originated, but I want to remind the opposition that there is a procurement process in law that determines how procurement takes place, including...
How fucking rich. Beg your pardon, my people. How rich. Dr. Tufton, you were that same person during the lockdown period who issued out many contracts without formality, without going through the procurement process. Dr. Tufton, the evidence is there. You did tantamount of that during lockdown. With the COVID money, Dr. Tufton, you did just a walk and a give out contract. So how could you say that? How could you really say that? Boy, that's terrible. Let's continue listening to the wicked.
Of equipment. And I want to reassure the member, because it may be a case of ignorance as opposed to a case of mischief, and I prefer to give the benefit of the doubt, that that procurement process was held through from start to finish, and we can provide specifics on that if necessary, but I want to advocate that principle, which resulted in the equipment. And
come on, globalists. £1, £2, anything you have that will do. Support Global TV. We've never asked for such a serious support before. Give us the support so we can continue to do the work we do. What we do is not cheap. If I didn't need the help, I wouldn't be asking, honestly. Let's get on supporting. Thank you.
Indeed, most, if not all, of the equipment that currently are procured, are secured, are purchased for our public health facilities.
So, I did some record still because Dr. Tufton was just going on and on with a plethora of lies, because it's well documented in the news where Dr. Tufton blame everybody except for himself. Dr. Tufton blame Geddes refrigeration. Dr. Tufton blame the healthcare workers. Dr. Tufton blame private contractor. Dr. Tufton blame everything. Dr. Tufton is now coming to Parliament to say it's because lack of investment for decades. I mean, you're there for 8 years, Dr. Tufton. 8 years, 2 terms in government is enough to bring the hospital to a place where doctors are not demonstrating, where international surgical team are not disgruntled by the failure they have seen since they have been visiting Jamaica in the last 20 years. That's why we're not going to get anywhere. To date, the minister don't see the need to take responsibility for the rolling failure in the healthcare. 3 doctors come out now and is saying similar or the same thing, Dr. Tufton. All right, let's put aside that one of the doctors is a politician. He's your opponent. All right, put that aside. Are you saying Dr. Brady will not have no political affiliation in Jamaica? Dr. Brady, who has been coming to assist Jamaican children for years, is lying, Dr. Tufton? Dr. Blake, which is a orthopedic surgeon at Bustamante Children's Hospital. Thank you, Evan Bradford. Good night. Are you saying he's lying? The logical conclusion for the public to draw, Dr. Tufton, based on all the different sides of story what we hear, Dr. Tufton is the culprit. Dr. Tufton is the liar. Dr. Tufton is the one that is misinforming us. Dr. Tufton is the one that's not been honest. Because the 3 doctors who are within the service are saying different to Dr. Tufton, but they all corroborate with each other. So we cannot accept your words at all, Dr. Tufton, not for 1 minute. We have to take the words of the medical professions who are looking after us. They who battled through that decrepit system day in, day out, even though sometimes them give with some bad service because of how UNO treat them. Just same way with the police. The police treat we bad because UNO treat them bad. We country mashed down in Jamaica. We have a Ministry of Health which is not functioning. We have a dunce Ministry of Education. We have a thieving Prime Minister. You have a dunce Speaker of the House. And the country has no finance minister. Can you imagine? And they want to tell us that Jamaica is moving in the right direction. Which country do you think would move in the right direction without a finance minister? A country that doesn't have a good hands on the public purse is moving the country is moving in the right direction. What is wrong with Andrew Holness's majority? Andrew Holness has an overwhelming majority. He has multiple Georgina Stewart, multiple people to choose from. And you mean say Nigel gone? Nigel bowed out gracefully? And the country still don't know who is Nigel Clarke's successor? It don't favor still at all. That's why everything are popped down, you know. That's why everything are popped down. Because the people that want Andrew put in position are not people who are qualified. You mean to say you are taking so much people in the party and you now look to place people in positions, place people into the party who would be qualified for positions of government? Because as it is, Andrew Holness, you're at a stalemate at the moment. Tufton, the new finance minister, Jesus have mercy. What a crisis. Then if he's so lie as health minister, and as health minister, I'm telling you, say money are not the problem. And him a treat the health service so bad. The Chase Fund money, Dr. Tufton, where to repair the hospital, where you never make go ahead. Dr. Dawes spoke about it yesterday. Dr. Blake spoke about it today. Can you address that issue, Norman Ferguson Wagwan? Are you going to address that issue, Dr. Tufton? Who doctor is saying it? No. Dr. Brady said there's a huge infrastructure problem. Are you going to address that? Are you going to continue move around playing the blame game? For those of you, if you just come and you did not hear Dr. Blake, let's listen to Dr. Blake, because a lot of what Dr. Blake says corroborate with what Dr. Dawes said yesterday.
A challenging few months at the Boston Hospital for Children. Orthopedic surgeon and consultant Dr. Warren Blake knows firsthand what medical staff had to do to keep the operations running. It is why he's concerned about the comments made by the Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton about the malfunctioning AC units in the operating rooms. The minister pointed to poor maintenance of the infrastructure by the hospital's administrators for some of the recurring problems. According to Dr. Blake, that's not the case. He referred us to a plan put in place back in April to fix the AC units in all operating rooms. He said if that plan was allowed to go ahead, problems with the AC units would be non-existent.
And that plan was to have been funded by the Chase Fund. The administration of the hospital was well involved in this, and when they sent to the ministry to get permission was denied. And the minister needs to also address the reasons why the permission was denied to go ahead with the plans earlier this year to fix the hospital. And it's because of this denial that's part of the major reason why we don't have any operating theatre functioning properly at the Children's Hospital at this time.
As it relates to suggestions that patients can do operations at the university hospitals of the West Indies, Dr. Blake says it's easier said than done.
In fact, one of our patients who were on the list for the mission was in fact sent to the university hospital in an attempt to try and get her done through the hospital. She returned to us when she got an invoice for $1 million. We were told that the invoice would probably have been waived, but when the mother faced with an invoice like that, she didn't want to go through all the problems to get the invoice waived, so she came back down to Bustamante Hospital.
Dr. Blake says for months now, he has had to be cancelling major surgeries because of problems with the hospital's AC unit. At the press conference, Minister Tufton also said it was difficult to get persons to maintain equipment. Dr. Blake stated the reason why contractors are reluctant to carry out servicing at public hospitals.
None of the suppliers want to maintain their equipment because they don't get paid. And if they do get paid, they get paid very late. So the ministry is looked upon as a very bad creditor.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
Dr. Dawes also spoke to this very issue yesterday, where creditors are not honoring, I forgot how we call the letter, a commitment letter, when patient turn up with it, because they're saying that the ministry owes and the ministry is not paying us, so we're not honoring the ministry commitment letter. And Dr. Tufton have the nerve to come in a parliament, come stand up and tell we lie and act as if Dr. Dawes is making mischief. All right, let's say Dr. Dawes is making mischief because Dr. Dawes is your opponent. What about Dr. Blake and Dr. Brady? Who set up Dr. Blake and Dr. Brady to this mischief, Dr. Tufton? Because according to you, it's mischief. So who set up Dr. Blake and Dr. Brady to this mischief? Because the mischief start with Dr. Brady. So yes, that somebody set up Dr. Brady to this is what Dr. Tufton would be arguing. Somebody set up Dr. Brady to this. This is what this minister does. And this year one year him said the conundrum, No, I think I the next one. Hold on. Health sector not giving. Hold on, let me take off this thing where I run across to see what I do. Health sector not giving value for money. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, said Jamaica is not receiving health care that reflect the significant investment the government is making to enhance and develop the public health infrastructure. You said that, Dr. Tufton. That is showing shades at the doctors directly. You are saying, uno put in the investment in the infrastructure, but the health professionals now maintain the thing them and that make them pop down. But that's not what Geddes says. Geddes said they make certain recommendation to the ministry or to the region, and it has been ignored. This is very woeful. This is very woeful. We don't have a minister of finance. We don't have a minister of health. What is becoming of our country? What is becoming of Jamaica? Look at where we have ended up when we have the so-called best prime minister since independence, best finance minister since independence. But we end up now that the country, for the very first time, at least in my living memory, that Jamaica is left without a finance minister. This is very woeful for our country. When our country can be left without a minister of finance, you ask yourself the question, where are we going as a country? If Nigel Clarke gave his notice over a month ago, Nigel Clarke bowed out of our House of Representatives today. The Prime Minister is yet to name a replacement who, in this capacity, should have had a handover from Nigel Clarke over the month period that we knew Nigel Clarke was leaving. And this evening, Jamaica, the country is left without a Minister of Finance, with the high possibility that the Prime Minister, Abena Sarkodie, how are you? That the Prime Minister, who is wrapped up in court fighting with the Integrity Commission, this Prime Minister, who's trying to struck out Section 14, subsection 5 of the Corruption Prevention Act, which create the offense of illicit enrichment, which the Prime Minister is under investigation for. This is where we have ended up as a country. But the JLP said they are confident that Andrew, the tyrant wholeness, will lead them to a third term. This tells me that the Labour Party have decided on their slow death. Because to go into a general election with such an unpopular prime minister, where the opposition leader, an opposition leader that has limped from behind, weak for years, has overrun this government, even within the margin of error given the polls. The prime minister, the leader of the opposition, is still leading the prime minister by about a 6-point lead, about a 6% lead. But the JLP said, we are confident that Andrew Holness will bring us to victory another third term. If we can't find a finance minister, we're not sure now go find a third term, ask yourself the question. The country's been left without a qualified finance minister. If Nigel was ever qualified at all, you see. If Nigel Clarke was ever qualified at all, the country is now left without a finance minister. And what we know, given the Prime Minister's reluctance to announce a new Minister of Finance, then one could only assume or infer that whoever the Prime Minister appoints will be as daft as the Prime Minister, as daft as Everard Warmington. Because if somebody did Dede to take over, then we would have known a long time. Nigel would have done a proper handover. Maybe Nigel have done a handover in secret for the secret person we're going to take over with public treasurer. That secret person who is going to take over our public treasurer, maybe Nigel Clarke have given them a handover and we are not aware. But as far as we're aware, nobody is in the House of Representatives that is qualified, experienced, or competent enough. One might even add the word ethical to become the country's finance minister. But for what we know, we are in shambles at the moment. We are running a country without a minister of finance. Do you know how that looks for the confidence of the Jamaican economy? Do you know what that looks like for the confidence and economy? The financial system operates based on confidence within the economy. A country without a finance minister, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. So even the junior minister within the department done an incompetence so till that he couldn't replace Nigel. So what was the point of having him there as a junior minister when, if you're that stuck across the parliament, then one would assume your junior minister within the Ministry of Finance could have stepped up to the plate. But it was just another figurine on the Princess Jessar, isn't it, Andrew Holness? The junior minister in the Ministry of Finance I him named the Xavier, what's it or rather rounds? That shows that even the junior minister was placed in a position where he doesn't have the competency or the expertise or experience for that matter. Because instead, your director stepped down and you, the deputy director, cannot step up to the plate. So when did they find day one for? What just did upon it just a tuck dust? Because you know say everything around Nigel gather dust. You know say everything around Nigel, including the FSD report from FSC, it gather dust. What a situation we're in as a country. The most I can say, Jamaica, it don't look good. It doesn't look good for us as a country because I see peak of staff are on restivity and they're asking for an urgent meeting with the finance ministry about the regrading of pay and positions. Who is leading the Ministry of Finance, Andrew Holness? You're under duty to answer to the nation on that. Now that Nigel Clarke is gone and you have not announced a replacement, Andrew Holness, you are under a duty to address the nation on this issue. And if Andrew Holness becomes the next finance minister in our country and Jamaicans sit down and accept it, then he's on his way to his third term. Because the budget will run your country, I'm sure your prime minister will make sure him use it and buy the next term. You hear me? So, wanna sit down and don't watch the conundrum of where all of this madness from Andrew Holness is going, because it no longer looks safe. The truth is, it no longer appears to be safe. Not from this prime minister. It no longer look safe. I'm going to remind you all one more time that we're looking for assistance from all of you globalists, whatever you can afford, to help us to repurchase our StreamYard package. The early package we purchased has now come to an end, as we purchased it last year, October, when we launched. We're not generating enough income in order to repurchase at the moment. The package cost me £600 for the year. Whatever you can donate to our PayPal or Zelle, pinned in the top of the chat, you can do so in order so we can buy back our professional package so we can continue with our broadcasting as normal and be able to multicast. At the moment, we are only broadcasting on one platform because that's what the free package allow. It is very limited and doesn't allow us to do a lot of the things that allows us to enhance the broadcasting to give you a certain quality of broadcasting. So if you can assist, thank you very much, June Plum 26. If you can assist, please do so we can repurchase or package. But thank you all very much for being here with us tonight. Me nothing we are going to hear until tomorrow press briefing. Beat and teach, where you there? I don't think we are going to hear anything until in a press briefing tomorrow, do you? Me not think Andrew announced nothing tonight because that rapport, if he announced anything, it should have been done around the time when them a serenade Nigel today. But nothing. And it feel disheartening that the country is left in this limbo. This is really a limbo for the country. But you have those who say the country is moving in the right direction. What that means, I'm not quite sure if we're unable to reappoint one of the most important posts in our executive, which is the Ministry of Finance, which is central to every other department of government and central to our economy. This is what you call a dark day in the history of Jamaica. It really couldn't have gotten any darker.
We don't feel comfortable sitting in Parliament with a Minister of Government who has openly accepted responsibility, who expresses no regret for the act, where a Commission of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution, and that minister shows no sign of wanting to resign, or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the minister.
With all the sympathy that one can have for support, this is embarrassing, not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP, but to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. Our heads bow this morning with this sort of reaction to it.
So we have to take firm actions in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence and in which the institutions of the society are all agree that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people have placed in them. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down the entire government.
And we want to say thank you to June Plum 26 and thank you to Violet, who have already made donation to the repurchasing of our StreamYard package. Thank you very much. Whoever else would like to support the Global Television Group, you can hit the link in the top of the chat and donate whatever you can afford. This will allow you to get a more seamless broadcasting and assist us to continue the work. Thank you all very much for being here this evening on the Global Television Group. Hopefully, by tomorrow, the country will be named a Minister of Finance in the name of the Prime Minister. To Kathy on TikTok and to everyone else on TikTok, thank you very much for being here tonight. Join us back tomorrow morning when we all go to our bed, sleep, and wake up hoping to hear who will be the next finance minister of Jamaica. But for now, the country is without a minister of finance. Thank you and good night from the Global Television Group. Good night, TikTok. Join us tomorrow morning.